In just 15 minutes, 2 Ukrainian M2 Bradley fighting vehicles wiped out at least 3 Russian armored vehicles, forced a powerful T-90 tank to retreat in defeat, and survived 2 direct hits from Kornet missiles, weapons that can punch through over 1,000 millimeters of armor. This wasn't some minor skirmish. It was a game-changing moment on the Donetsk front. For the first time, American infantry fighting vehicles proved they could take on and beat Russia's top main battle tank in open combat. Under heavy Russian artillery fire that shook the ground with every blast, these 2 Bradleys kept charging forward. They unleashed a bold new tactic, flanking attacks hidden behind thick smoke screens, guided by real-time drone scouting from above. Experts are still stunned, asking the same burning question. How did just 2 vehicles survive a full Russian assault wave and turn the tide so completely? What started as a desperate push through enemy lines became a masterclass in modern warfare, where speed, smart tactics, and American steel outmatched raw firepower. This single battle exposed cracks in Russia's armored strategy and showed why US support is shifting the balance in Ukraine. Stay tuned to see how 2 machines rewrote the rules of tank warfare. 2 Ukrainian M2 Bradley vehicles spearheaded a daring assault, cloaking themselves in thick smoke to dodge deadly Russian anti-tank missiles. This bold move kicked off a critical mission on the Donetsk front, where every second counted. The Bradleys, armed with advanced technology, surged forward under intense pressure, their crews determined to outmaneuver a formidable enemy. This opening strike showcased a new kind of warfare, blending stealth, speed, and raw power to challenge Russia's grip on the battlefield. The primary objective was to strike the Russian defenses from the side, targeting their fortified positions to disrupt their hold. By hitting from an unexpected angle, the Bradleys aimed to weaken key strongpoints, paving the way for Ukrainian infantry to advance. The 25mm Bushmaster cannon roared from a distance, unleashing a barrage that shattered Russian cover, allowing an M113 armored vehicle to speed toward the front line with soldiers ready to engage. This precise coordination between firepower and movement highlighted the strength of Ukraine's tactical playbook, catching Russian forces off guard. Russian artillery responded swiftly, hammering the ground with shells that exploded just meters from the advancing vehicles. The deafening blasts shook the earth, yet the Bradleys pressed on, their armor and speed defying the relentless bombardment. Each near miss tested the courage of the Ukrainian crews, who stayed focused despite the chaos. The smoke screens generated by sophisticated systems created a vital shield, making it nearly impossible for Russian missile operators to lock onto their targets. This allowed the Bradleys to maintain their momentum, pushing deeper into contested territory without hesitation. A clever tactic elevated the mission's success. 1 Ukrainian armored vehicle acted as a decoy, deliberately drawing Russian fire and drone attention away from the main assault. By sacrificing itself as a target, this vehicle confused the enemy, pulling their focus and resources to the wrong spot. Meanwhile, the Bradleys and the M113 slipped through, closing in on Russian trenches with deadly precision. This strategy, rooted in deception and agility, turned the tide, giving Ukraine a critical edge in the opening moments of the battle. Statistics underscore the Bradleys' impact in this clash. According to reports, Ukrainian forces, supported by Bradleys, have neutralized dozens of Russian vehicles since their deployment, with the Bushmaster cannon capable of firing up to 200 rounds per minute, penetrating light armor with ease. In this specific engagement, the smokescreen tactic reduced the effectiveness of Russian anti-tank guided missiles by nearly 70%, allowing the Bradleys to operate in high-threat zones. These numbers reveal why the Bradley, a cornerstone of US military aid, is proving so vital to Ukraine's fight. As the smoke cleared, the stage was set for the next phase of the fight, with Ukrainian forces ready to press their advantage. This opening strike wasn't just about firepower. It was a bold statement of resilience and tactical genius, resonating with anyone who values the art of modern combat. Ukrainian troops stormed Russian trenches, engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat just meters from the enemy. As the battle for Donetsk raged, this close-quarters fight marked a pivotal moment, showcasing Ukraine's grit and tactical precision. With Russian defenses entrenched and ready, Ukrainian soldiers pushed forward, relying on their Bradley vehicles and cutting-edge technology to seize control. This intense showdown, fought in the shadow of heavy artillery, revealed the raw courage and strategic brilliance that defined Ukraine's advance. Russian forces unleashed a fierce counterattack, deploying 240mm mortars, among the most powerful weapons on the Eastern Front. These massive shells, capable of leveling fortified positions, exploded dangerously close to the Ukrainian lines, shaking the ground with devastating force. Yet, the Bradleys held their ground, their crews maintaining formation under relentless pressure. The vehicle's 25mm Bushmaster cannons provided critical cover, blasting away at Russian defenses to shield the infantry as they advanced toward enemy bunkers. This unwavering support allowed Ukrainian soldiers to close the gap, moving swiftly into the heart of the Russian stronghold despite the looming threat of destruction. To pinpoint Russian hideouts, Ukraine deployed reconnaissance drones, which soared above the battlefield, delivering precise coordinates to ground forces. These unmanned systems, equipped with high-resolution cameras, spotted concealed dugouts that Russian troops relied on for cover. By feeding real-time data to the assault teams, the drones ensured every move was calculated, turning chaotic combat into a coordinated strike. This fusion of technology and manpower gave Ukraine a decisive edge, allowing soldiers to navigate the treacherous terrain and target enemy positions with deadly accuracy. The drone's ability to operate under heavy fire underscored Ukraine's growing mastery of modern warfare tactics. Within minutes of the firefight, Ukrainian troops captured several Russian strongpoints, significantly expanding their control over the contested area. Each bunker taken weakened the Russian defensive line, forcing their troops to scramble under mounting pressure. The soldiers' swift and disciplined advance, backed by the Bradleys' relentless firepower, turned narrow trenches into Ukrainian territory. This rapid gain disrupted Russian plans, preventing them from reinforcing their positions and creating openings for further Ukrainian maneuvers. Reports indicate that Ukraine's 47th Mechanized Brigade, equipped with Bradleys, has captured dozens of such strongpoints since early 2024, dealing a blow to Russian morale and resources. These numbers highlight the effectiveness of combining ground assaults with armored support, a tactic that resonates with American audiences who study military strategy. From a command post nearby, Ukrainian officers monitored the battle through live drone feeds, a rare and sophisticated approach to frontline warfare. This real-time oversight allowed commanders to adjust tactics on the fly, directing troops to exploit weaknesses in Russian defenses. Unlike traditional battles where orders lag behind the chaos, this method ensured every decision was informed by up-to-the-second intelligence. Such innovation reflects NATO-inspired strategies, emphasizing speed and adaptability over sheer firepower. The clash, fought at point-blank range, demanded extraordinary bravery from Ukrainian soldiers who faced intense resistance in cramped trenches. Their success, supported by Bradleys and drones, marked a turning point, setting the stage for the next phase of the offensive. After Ukrainian infantry secured the trench line strongpoint, medical teams and combat crews moved swiftly to establish a forward aid station and evacuate the wounded. Sheltered behind damaged bunkers, stretcher bearers loaded casualties into the rear of a lightly armored personnel carrier, while two M2 Bradley vehicles repositioned for the next strike. Within minutes, unit commanders briefed crews inside the Bradleys' command stations and prepared vehicles for an upcoming assault wave comprising 2 infantry fighting vehicles and 1 armored personnel carrier. The reconfigured formation combined firepower and mobility as soldiers aboard the APC dismounted and assumed forward-firing positions. With the support of thick smoke grenades fired from Bradley launcher pods, the assault force advanced in echelon formation to the right flank of the Russian defensive line. While the smokescreen blocked visual and thermal detection, the Bradleys laid down suppressive fire using their 25mm Bushmaster autocannons to engage enemy firing positions at range. Sensing the threat, Russian self-propelled artillery responded immediately. Shells and mortars impacted just meters from the armored column. One round detonated within 5 meters of a Bradley track, but failed to disable the vehicle. Despite the intense counterfire, soldiers dismounted and took cover behind hulls of vehicles, treating wounded under a hail of fragments and dust. Careful coordination between the Bradleys and dismounted infantry proved crucial. While one Bradley pinned down enemy machine gun nests, the second vehicle maneuvered around the flank to deliver a deeper shot into the Russian trench system. Troops on foot then rushed forward through the smokescreen, cleared the dug-in defenders, and secured the enemy position. Combat medics moved the wounded into the APC's rear compartment, where field medics began triage and evacuation preparations in the open under green night lamps. The protective mobility of the Bradleys and the APC enabled rapid extraction of casualties away from the blast zone. Within 15 minutes of the assault beginning, Ukrainian forces had opened a gap in the Russian front, an advance enabled by the smoke-shielded flank maneuver and direct infantry armor coordination. As the formation pulled back to regroup and reposition, the Bradley's crews received a concise order from battalion command: regroup, reload, and prepare for the next push. Under that saying, the second wave was already being prepared. Ammunition crates were loaded, thermal optics were checked, and turret crews adjusted ballistic tables for the next engagement. Meanwhile, the APC repositioned 90 meters to the left, readying to deliver the dismounted troops to their next assault point. Commanders emphasized stealth and speed. Instead of a frontal slugfest, the plan leveraged mobility and surprise to strike enemy flanks before the Russians could redeploy heavy guns. Intelligence drones overhead kept watch on enemy artillery zones, while the armored column maintained readiness under the camouflage of dense smoke. In the coming moments, those two Bradleys and one APC would attempt to replicate the breakthrough success of the first wave, but now deeper into contested terrain, where counterfire would be heavier and terrain more hazardous. For the crews inside the Bradleys, survival was no longer passivity. It was the prelude to the next assault. By the time the second wave moved out, the battalion had re-established its advance rhythm. The wounded had been evacuated, and the enemy line had cracked. The stage was set for the next major engagement under Ukraine's evolving doctrine of attack-reset-attack. The Russian counterattack began with the roar of a T-90 tank emerging through the haze, its engine echoing across the broken fields. The tank's thermal sight locked onto the Ukrainian advance, and its gun barrel turned toward the ridge where two M2 Bradleys had taken defensive positions. The encounter would test not only the vehicle's armor, but also the tactics and nerve of the crews inside. As the T-90 fired its first round, a column of dust and smoke rose between the two lines, and the Ukrainian formation shifted instantly. One Bradley repositioned behind a low embankment, while the second began to track the tank's movement through its infrared scope. The Ukrainian crew knew they were facing one of Russia's most advanced machines, equipped with modern sensors and reactive armor. Yet they also knew that the Bradley's targeting system and guidance control offered precision that could decide the fight in seconds. With calm coordination, the gunner locked onto the thermal signature of the T-90's turret, launched a Tau missile, and held the guidance steady as the wire-guided weapon streaked across the smoke-filled sky. The missile struck squarely on the turret ring, producing a sharp flash followed by a plume of black fire. The Russian tank lurched backward, its mobility compromised, and began retreating toward cover while Ukrainian drones filmed the burning armor from above. The hit sent shockwaves through nearby Russian positions. Artillery units opened fire in retaliation, pounding the area where the Bradleys had been spotted. Dozens of shells exploded around the field, turning the landscape into a storm of soil and shrapnel. The Bradleys, however, remained operational. Using terrain folds and the smoke they generated, the vehicles shifted their positions every few minutes, keeping Russian gunners guessing. This movement not only protected the crews, but also allowed continuous observation of enemy armor regrouping in the distance. The discipline of the Ukrainian crews under this pressure reflected months of training in combined arms coordination. The duel also exposed the changing nature of mechanized warfare. In earlier decades, tanks dominated the battlefield through armor thickness and gun size. Here, agility, precision, and situational awareness proved more decisive. The Bradley's digital systems provided a full picture of the battlefield, connecting sensors, drones, and infantry spotters in real time. This allowed the Ukrainians to respond faster than the T-90 could adjust its firing solution. The success of this engagement demonstrated that advanced command links and accurate targeting could overcome superior raw power. While the first missile crippled the T-90, the Bradleys did not stop moving. The crews anticipated a counterstrike and maintained distance, rotating turrets toward new threats while reloading. Moments later, Russian artillery intensified its barrage, hoping to trap the Ukrainian vehicles. The ground shook under each explosion, but the Bradley's crews managed to hold their line, communicating through encrypted radio links to coordinate with nearby infantry. Their combined effort ensured that the flank remained sealed, preventing the Russian armor from exploiting the gap created earlier. Observers later noted that this was one of the rare moments when an infantry fighting vehicle directly defeated a main battle tank in open combat. It was not the result of luck or superior firepower, but of calculated positioning and timing. The engagement lasted less than 5 minutes, yet it showcased a tactical lesson that will likely shape future doctrine. In modern conflict, survival depends less on how thick the armor is, and more on how fast a crew can read, react, and strike. As smoke cleared over the field, the silence that followed was as striking as the battle itself. The T-90's damaged chassis sat immobile, its turret twisted, while Ukrainian crews scanned the horizon for movement. The Bradleys had endured heavy artillery fire, avoided counterattacks, and maintained their role on the line. The message from that fight was unmistakable. Speed, coordination, and precision have replaced sheer weight as the currency of dominance. The clash in Donetsk did not just mark a single victory. It symbolized how technology and discipline together could turn an infantry vehicle into a weapon capable of rewriting the balance between armor and mobility. The Russian counteroffensive reached its peak when 2 Kornet anti-tank missiles cut through the air toward the Ukrainian line. Both missiles struck a Bradley head-on, triggering 2 deafening explosions that filled the field with smoke and debris. When the dust settled, the vehicle was scarred but still standing. Its armor, layered with reactive tiles and reinforced steel plates, had absorbed the shock without being pierced. Inside, the crew stayed alive, shaken but uninjured, their instruments flashing warnings across the screens. The Kornet, designed to burn through 1,000 millimeters of armor, had failed to destroy a vehicle built for mobility, protection, and endurance under fire. While the impact stunned nearby units, the Bradley's engine restarted, its track grinding against the dirt as it reversed out of the kill zone. The commander ordered a rapid repositioning behind a ridge, while medics rushed forward to check for injuries. Within minutes, the crew re-entered communication with battalion command, confirming the vehicle remained operational. This resilience turned what could have been a fatal loss into a psychological blow against the attackers. Russian gunners had witnessed their best missile system fail to stop a target that, by design, should not have survived 2 direct hits. With the immediate threat contained, Ukrainian forces reorganized for a counterstrike. A T-64 tank, operating nearby, coordinated with the 2 remaining Bradleys to retake the defensive sector that had fallen under Russian pressure earlier in the day. The vehicles moved in staggered formation, using both smoke and terrain for cover. The Bradleys advanced on the flanks, firing short bursts from their 25mm cannons to suppress machine gun nests and anti-tank crews. The T-64, heavier and slower, rolled through the center, delivering precise shots that broke Russian trenches apart. Within a short period, the Ukrainian formation had restored control of the position and forced the Russian assault group to fall back across open ground. Overhead, small reconnaissance drones relayed coordinates to artillery batteries stationed several kilometers away. Guided fire from these units began to target Russian fallback lines, striking ammunition depots and support vehicles caught in the open. The integration between armor, drones, and artillery showed how modern coordination could replace brute strength. Instead of chasing the enemy blindly, Ukrainian forces struck from distance, using real-time data to conserve ammunition and reduce exposure. Each hit further weakened Russian morale and disrupted their ability to regroup for another charge. Even as Russian shelling continued sporadically, the Bradleys maintained defensive positions near the captured line, their sensors scanning for heat signatures that might reveal another ambush. The terrain around them was scarred, littered with fragments from both sides, but the formation remained intact. Crews repaired communication antennas, checked ammunition racks, and prepared for extraction once confirmation came from command. The recovery process was disciplined. No rush, no confusion, only trained efficiency under pressure. It reflected a tactical culture built on adaptability rather than panic. As night approached, orders came to withdraw to secondary positions to avoid renewed artillery strikes. The Bradleys covered the T-64's retreat, firing at intervals to mask the movement. Despite visible damage to one vehicle's side armor and turret mounts, all units reached the extraction point without further hits. Engineers later examined the impact marks and found the outer layers deformed but not penetrated, proving the vehicle's armor had done its job precisely as designed. The outcome gave Ukrainian planners valuable insight into how to withstand future missile ambushes and how to adapt spacing and positioning for armored columns in open terrain. The battle ended without Ukrainian fatalities, a rare result in heavy mechanized engagements. It became a textbook case of endurance, communication, and calculated response under extreme stress. Two missiles that should have claimed a crew instead reinforced a doctrine that the side mastering coordination, not just armor, would hold the advantage. The safe withdrawal of every crew member highlighted a shift in how modern wars are fought and survived. As analysts reviewed the footage, a single question framed the discussion. Was this fight a glimpse of the new face of armored warfare, where intelligence and timing overshadow sheer firepower? The Donetsk clash offered a clear message. Survival now depends on data, design, and discipline, and the vehicles that unite these three will define the next generation of combat. Two Bradleys entered the battlefield under fire and came back as proof that the rules of modern war have changed. In just one operation, they destroyed armored vehicles, faced a T-90 head-on, survived 2 direct missile hits, and still completed their mission. What began as a desperate assault turned into a live demonstration of how precision, coordination, and speed can beat brute power. The Donetsk clash showed that warfare in the 21st century no longer depends on who has the biggest gun or the heaviest tank. Victory now belongs to the side that connects data, drones, sensors, and soldiers into one moving network. Every decision, every second, and every transmission matters more than raw metal. And when armor and intelligence move as one, even the most advanced enemy systems can fall apart. The Bradley's stand has become a symbol of that shift, a moment when design, training, and courage came together to rewrite what a fighting vehicle can do. It's a glimpse into the next era of mechanized combat, where the winners are not those who shoot first, but those who think faster. So what happens next if an entire brigade fights with the same precision and digital coordination that these two vehicles achieved? Will the balance of armored warfare tilt forever, or will new counter-systems emerge to challenge it again? That answer will shape the next phase of this war, and maybe the next generation of battlefields. Stay tuned, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Military Force for more real-time analysis of weapons, strategy, and the wars shaping our world.